your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win in any marketplace, making you more informed as a consumer out there. And we do that with our local flair of expert contributors right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, on air almost 10 years now. And it's a way that we help you kind of avoid a lot of the misinformation, bad advice out there that you find. And we interview great business owners, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, and more here on our daily show, the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Doug Clark, Hours Creole. He's our restaurant partner with Hours Creole. Coming up later on in the program, Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, the Snoop Dogg, going to be in the house. And we're going to kick it off with Brandon Faust from Mold Solutions USA as well. Also, in the news now, we're setting records all over the place. If you didn't know about the economy, you know, we've got record high inflation, lots of records being broken. Commercial now, commercial buildings, 12.9% vacancy. That's a new record. The empty buildings all over the place. So we're going to talk about that. Also, a little company you may have heard of called UPS. They have their first decline in annual revenue since 2009. So you wouldn't find out from the mainstream media, though. A lot of them, of course, depending on where you go, you're getting other, information that's coming out, especially from the White House. So before we do, we always like to feature our real estate properties live on air. We got some hot listings here in beautiful Tampa Bay. We just did a major price reduction at 4501 Garnett Drive in Newport Richey. This is a hot property listing. Just did a $50,000 price drop down to $399. Owner super motivated here. This is a waterfront home in Gulf Harbors, 2,215 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. Private community boat ramp. You got an open floor plan, cathedral ceiling, fireplace in the great room, upstairs loft, and it's a golf cart friendly community. Great opportunity. 4501 Garnett Drive in Newport Richey. That's Pasco County. And of course, you can see that on our website, platinummvpteam.kw.com. Also, another waterfront beauty here, 3058 Mildred Drive in Palm Harbor. 3058 Mildred Drive. This is a corner lot, no homeowners association home, 1,380 square feet. You are on a canal. You've got lake access to the largest lake in all of Tampa Bay, 2,500 acre lake. That is Lake Tarpon. And it's a spacious corner lot home, countertops that are granite, wood accent walls, and you've got a boat dock on the canal and a private pool. Beautiful property, 3058 Mildred Drive, Palm Harbor, Florida. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. I love that clip from Cole Swindell there. Shout out to all of our military. Thanks so much for all you're doing, protecting us, keeping us free out there as well. And a quick shout out to Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing company right here in Tampa Bay. Ramin Kazami and his team, they do a great job. Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing. If you need any of your buildings done, commercial, residential, driveways, fences, heightssoftwash.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, welcome back. Brandon Faust in the house.
Great to be here. Really excited about today's show. I have my guest, Lori Frankel, with Mosaic. So they do a whole test for mycotoxins.
That's right. That's awesome. I love it. So Mold Solutions USA, Brandon's company. And then you brought in special guest, Lori Frankel, Mosaic Diagnostics. Tell us a little bit about the diagnostic side.
Okay. So we work with practitioners around the United States, actually around the whole world. And it's a simple urine test. We want the first morning urine, and you mail it into the lab, and we can look at 11 different mycotoxins that are released into the urine. Now, these mycotoxins can cause chronic disease, and patients don't even know that they have it. All of a sudden, they're forgetting things, they have a cough, or maybe essential tremors, so cognitive decline, and all of a sudden, they're wondering what's going on, and physicians aren't checking to see, have they been exposed to mold?
Yeah, right. And Brandon, we've talked about that in the past. I mean, it happens more often than people think.
Exactly. So I was, this is interesting because I met Lori and I had actually done the test myself back in 2019, where high in a particular mycotoxin was like 5 to 50, and I was at 1,240.
Whoa.
So a mycotoxin, myco is the Greek word for fungus, and toxin is obviously a poisonous substance. So mold releases a byproduct, if you will, that is used in this case to defend itself. So the mycotoxin test is picking up what's in the actual body that could be leading to these things, which I think is a huge situation where it goes undiagnosed, misdiagnosed, these mysterious ailments or non-optimum physical conditions. So when I met Lori, and she told me that she was a representative for Great Plains Laboratory, which is that was a previous name, right? So they've gone on to Mosaic, but I was like, wow, you work for the company that does this test. So it was somebody that was talking my language in regards to the actual importance of finding out what's not only going on with the home, but more importantly, what's going on in the physical body. Because at the end of the day, that's what is really important. My end of it, yes, we make the home better, because that question, is my home making me sick, is a real question. And it's something that I think needs to be asked more and more. But at the end of the day, it's what's happening to the person who's living in the home that is the most important factor.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this to the show, by the way. This is a great topic. And it comes in through the lungs, right? I mean, most of the time when you think mold, you're breathing it in. It's coming through the lungs, unless, of course, you're tasting it or something, which you shouldn't be. People should be doing. But you're looking at coming in through the lungs. And then, Lori, can you give us an example or maybe a success story where you were able to help a family or help someone?
Well, I can talk about myself.
Yeah.
Because I work with Great Plains, I tested myself and I tested my husband. We both came with off-the-charts ochratoxin and aflatoxin.
Wow.
Both off the charts. I couldn't believe that I was infected with mycotoxins. So that's how I met Brandon, as he came to my home to see how we can clean this up. And we found that it was in my AC unit. And there's just really no good way to clean that. An older unit, a newer unit, you can clean a little bit better. But so just get busy and start cleaning. And you have to throw a lot of stuff away.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It is a silent killer, Brandon.
Absolutely. And the other thing, it was in the AC unit, and there was also, she had a basement, she had turned the garage into an office. So she was right there on the water. So there's humidity that's coming in. So you have mold that starts growing at over 60% humidity. So it doesn't even take a water intrusion issue to actually lead to growth. And you may not see it because it's a light film, but it starts colonizing in this very small, very thin white film. It's very hard to see unless you have like a flashlight that reflects off of it, and then you can see the difference in the pattern.
Yeah.
And then the other aspect of it is the actual AC unit, which, I just recently partnered with an AC company and an AC contractor because this was such a crucial part of the home making people sick. And I knew that it was an issue, but I had no idea how much of an issue it was until I started opening up ACs. Now that I had the license to do it, and I was working with this guy, and we were doing the duct cleaning in a way that was actually real duct cleaning, not just going and kind of spraying and praying, hopefully this will work it out, but really getting in there and making sure that either the unit gets placed, the ducts get replaced, or you do a really thorough cleaning, which is second best, but in some cases doing a full replacement may not be feasible.
Yeah.
And what we're finding when we're opening up these AC units is there's a tremendous amount of growth. It's called cladosporium and Aspergillus penicillium that tends to actually infiltrate the AC system, which is continually wet. You have moisture with the coils, or they're condensating. You're hitting dew point. You have the ducts that are hitting dew point, and you get this infestation that can really impact the health. And ochratoxin A comes from Aspergillus.
Correct.
Yeah, but that makes a lot of sense. If you treat the areas, it's going to help the whole home become a cleaner home, and you're going to see that play out in your health. If you just joined us, we're talking with Brandon Faust, Mold Solutions USA, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, special guest Lori Frankel, Mosaic Diagnostics, urine testing for these types of mycotoxins that you may find. Reach out to the hotline if you'd like more information, or hit us up on the website, of course, consumerqb.com, consumerqb, like quarterback.com. 727-263-3707. You can call or text that hotline. And thanks to those that do, I have some great conversations almost on a daily basis with our listeners out there. It's great to hear feedback. We get text messages, calls, 727-263-3707. And it's an opportunity for you to kind of, take control of these different situations in your life. All types of great expert contributors, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, self-defense experts. I mean, self-defense is a big one. If you're not ready, you better start getting ready. I mean, there's some stuff coming down the pike when you think about it from a national, international level. You've got to really be taking self-defense seriously these days. But we're talking with Brandon Faust, Mold Solutions USA, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brandon, what else are you seeing out there, man?
Well, I think another form of self-defense that you really got to be looking at is kind of what's happening in your home that you may not even be thinking about,
Yeah,
right?
because you're
Because,
weakened.
I mean, a house, a house is not a home if it's not safe.
Right.
And if you have water infiltration and you have colonization that's releasing a poison, I mean, and some of this mold, like Stachybotrys, for example, that was cultivated in the Gulf War so that it could be used as biological warfare agents, as an agent of war to actually make the U.S. troops sick. They would release it on the U.S. troops.
Wow.
So this is no joke, right?
How would they release that? I'm just curious. I don't know if you have the answers to that. So they developed this weapon. Would they fly it over the plane and just drop it down?
Yeah, exactly, in canisters, right? And then you have biological warfare. Like, gas is a poisonous substance. So that's basically what this mold is releasing are these poisonous gases,
Right.
However way you want to describe it, whether it's, some people call it a secondary metabolite, you can call it a mycotoxin, you can call it a gas, whatever it is, it's basically an ultrafine particle that is poisonous that gets released as a defense mechanism through this growth. They look so unassuming. And a lot of people think that it's not a big deal, right? Contractors, even old school remediators might not think it's that big a deal, and it's definitely been undiagnosed and misdiagnosed by a lot of Western medicine. Would you speak to that, Lori?
Exactly. And so not only do you need to look at your home, but maybe your school, your workplace, or your vehicle. It can be in some foods, coffee, wine, cheeses. So if you bring home some berries and there's even one moldy berry in there, throw them all away. Don't cut that piece of cheese off that's moldy. Just throw it away. You don't need to ingest it either.
I'm curious also from the from the consumer side. Let's say I'm maybe I think I may have it. I get the test done. What kind of report do I get? How do I know that I'm in? Who do we need a doctor to look at that, or is it something you guys can do? Say, hey, you're in line with the norms here, kind of like you would do with your lipid profiles.
Right. So you can go to mosaicdiagnostics.com and find a practitioner in your area, and we would direct you to a practitioner. And the cost of the test is $310. It's not covered by insurance, and you would get a report back within 2 weeks. And the physician would go over it, because if there are elevated levels, then we're going to need to do some kind of treatment. So you're going to need to kill the mycotoxins, bind it up so that you can excrete it out of your body, and then also rebuild your body with antioxidants such as glutathione.
Yeah, that sounds great. This is awesome. Brandon Faust, Mold Solutions USA. We're taking a quick break. Lori Frankel as well, Mosaic Diagnostics. We're going to do another segment on the flip side here. Also going to jump into a little bit about the economy here coming up on the next segment. I want to talk to you about what's going on in trucking and also cardboard boxes, something as simple as an indicator as cardboard boxes in UPS. More on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check us out online, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1, at CQB Show. And, of course, the YouTube channel is a great wealth of information. Over 2,000 videos on there, multiple from Brandon Faust and his team. We got Jay Smith coming up as well, Snoop Dogg. You'll see a lot of videos there as well. So follow us online, connect with us online. We'd love to follow you back too and stay in touch with you. Hot listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty in conjunction with the Meraki Group, Keller Williams in Orlando. We got Pebble Creek Court here. This is Four Corners, Florida, Orange County, Osceola County. This is a $13 million listing from the Platinum MVP team and the Meraki Group. 100-acre property, prime development land in Orlando, 10 minutes from Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, downtown. A great opportunity to build, develop, and have some beautiful rental properties. Most likely the highest and best use here is for short-term rentals since you're so close to the highly trafficked Disney World, Universal Studios, SeaWorld area. Pebble Creek Court, Four Corners. And reach out to the show if you're a developer, entrepreneur, and you want to find out more about that. You can email me, brimes@kw.com, brimes@kw.com. All right, another commercial property, Orient Road, 4404 Orient Road. $1.3 million listing here. Great opportunity, 6,000 plus square feet, well-built office building here. and you have plenty of parking, recently updated interior, 4404 Orient Road, just down the road from the casino in Tampa. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, I'm going to play a quick clip here just to let you know like what's going on with the economy here. I like to keep you informed. This is a national level. We touch on some national news. We're going to bring it back local, of course, with Brandon Faust with Mold Solutions. But check this out. This was an interesting clip.
The economy is bad and it's worsening.
Steve
And I
Cortez.
say that not to depress the audience, but to motivate everybody out there, all the patriots, to make sure that the House GOP holds the line in debt ceiling negotiations. So previously, we talked about J.B. Hunt, what it told us about the trucking industry and the massive slowdown in the movement of goods and services. I then also provided the first chart showing the shipment of boxes, about as basic as it gets regarding the economy. The shipment of the things that are used to ship things, okay? The shipment of cardboard boxes, which has plunged at a worse rate than 08 and 09. Another bad comparison to that 08-09 period. UPS, the ubiquitous shipper out there all over the U.S. economy at both the business wholesale level as well as the retail e-commerce level. They had some very disappointing results from UPS yesterday. If we pull up chart number 2, I want to read from you from the Wall Street Journal reporting on UPS. UPS issues downbeat outlook for shipping volumes, and I highlighted this quote: the first decline in annual revenue since 2009. Let me repeat that. The first decline in annual revenue since 2009.
So, yeah, if you think about that as an indicator, when you think about shipping, I mean, there's a lot of different things being shipped across the United States. And, of course, one of the key factors, I think, is Amazon. They've got a lot of their own shipping doing departments now. But so that's not good news. You've got the first decline in annual revenue since 2009 for UPS. Number of cardboard boxes at an all-time low. And I heard, I think it was Senator Kennedy say, if you put Biden in charge of the desert, that he would run out of sand. So, unfortunately, we're dealing with some really bad leadership now. We went from a booming economy to a struggling economy where we're about to lose our place on planet Earth as the world's currency. United States dollar is in jeopardy of losing world currency status for trade. So, anyways, let's bring it back local here. Brandon Faust, Mold Solutions, and we also have Lori Frankel from Mosaic Diagnostics. Brandon, where do you want to go from here, my friend?
Well, I think that one of the things that, just to your point in regards to the economy, it's really important to support your local economy.
Yes.
Family-owned local companies, Mold Solutions. Me and my wife run that company. We're 15 strong at this point and growing, which is fantastic. And hopefully, with Tampa Bay and everything that's happening in this area, we continue to stay, doing pretty well, right? But it's really important, and especially I think that when you're dealing with something that impacts the overall livelihood, the health, and the well-being of people, it's not one of those things that's kind of a nice to have. It's something that really does need to be done, and I think that that's the most important thing, as far as I can bring to the table is bringing on guests like Lori who understands the actual health impact of it, because this is not just, a mold guy talking about, oh, this could be a problem. No, this is real science-backed, this is a situation. But it's not always approached the way that it should be by Western medicine. I'm dealing with one of the most well-known doctors in Florida. I'm not going to say who it is, but his wife is suffering from mold toxicity, and even he is having realizations in regards to how much this goes misdiagnosed and undiagnosed as an actual cause of a lot of the physical issues that we're dealing with.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Maybe Lori can talk to that.
Well, when my husband went to his primary care, she said, well, do you have a cough? And he said, no. And she says, well, then you haven't been exposed to mold. She wouldn't even look at the test reports. So, and, speaking of family and children, mold does affect these children. So if a mom is pregnant in a moldy home, that does get transferred to the fetus.
Yep.
It goes through the breast milk, these mycotoxins.
Yep.
And it has been associated with ADHD, anxiety, depression. So it's not just a cough. It's not just a lung issue.
Right.
It does cause, our symptoms were fatigue, just extreme fatigue. As soon as we moved out, then we bounced back. We have good immune systems, so, we're doing pretty good. But in some patients, if they can't move out for whatever reason and they can't get it remediated quickly, then they can have some memory issues.
Yeah. Tell me about, do you have another, I like these examples too. I want to go back to the example idea. Do you have specific people that you've talked to that just, can you give us some of that?
Absolutely. So, Dr. And I'm allowed to say a name?
Sure.
Dr. Teitelbaum. She's in our Largo office, and she had a young man that was just started doing poorly in school and was just had severe fatigue and just not able to go to school anymore.
Yep.
And so she tested his mycotoxins. Sure enough, it was off the chart.
Wow.
So they went into his bedroom, they pulled back the wallpaper, and there it was.
Oh, boy. Silent killer. Like we said, Brandon, it's behind the walls. It's in the baseboards. It's all over the place sometimes.
So I had a young couple, probably 28, 29, so healthy, and they just bought a house. They were so excited to move into this home. And within 2 weeks, both of them were as sick as could be.
Wow.
So she brought me in. She heard about Mold Solutions, brought me in, and literally this is what we found under her AC unit.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? So
You wanna
this
hold
is...
that up to the camera? Yeah.
Yeah.
See if you can see that. Yeah, it's pretty, it's dark spots, and it looks like what you would think mold would look like. And that's, what kind of mold was that?
So that's Stachybotrys, right? So this is a seriously poisonous mold.
Yep.
Okay? And it's right under the AC system now being distributed all throughout the house. And, you wonder why they're starting to feel sick within, a couple weeks of arriving in the home. And all of a sudden there's fatigue, they are chronic, respiratory issues that they can't figure out. So it really is something that, this question, is my home making me sick? If you leave your home and you start to feel better, and then you come into your home and all of a sudden you're having reactions, you go on vacation and you're feeling good, and then you come back home and you can't figure out, why am I feeling like this?
Right.
The same thing happened with me. I'm a professional mold guy.
Yep.
And once I did the test, I found out I was off the charts. So
What's the website?
moldsolutions.com. Really simple.
Moldsolutions.com. Lori, I see yours here as mosaicdx.com.
Yes.
Mosaic, that's MOSAICDX.com. mosaicdx.com. And hey, those are great topics. Great discussion today. Thanks for the information. Thanks for being that consumer advocate for our listeners out there and our audience. Reach out to the hotline if you'd like to connect. Again, it's 727-263-3707, 727-263-3707, online at consumerqb.com. Thanks for coming in, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coming back with Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, Snoop Dogg. We're going to talk about commercial real estate setting records, and it's not good ones. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening.